Order where it's funded.
Member Karen. Member Cheney Huggett. Member Gates. Member Traver. Member Underhill. Member Wolfersberger.
Here.
We have, Your Honor.
Thank you. We have no invocation tonight, so we will stand for pledge allegiance. Item number 5, we have approval of agenda. Tonight's agenda includes number 6, public comment on agenda items. Number 7, our consent agenda, which includes city council minutes from our work session February 5th and regular session also on February 5th. City bills totaling $2,257,236.99. We do not have any presentations or recognitions tonight. Do not have any informational items tonight. We do not have any public hearings tonight. We do not have any old business tonight. Under number 12, reports and recommendations. 12A, we have license agreement requests, city property at 11301 Old US 27 South. And like to add an additional item tonight to tonight's agenda, item 12B, which is the design engineering contract for Forest Street and Valley View number 1. Then moving down to 13, appointments and elections. We have none tonight. Number 14 will be public comment on non-agenda items. Written comments that we have received. And then 15 will be council and manager communications, and then we will adjourn. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
I'll make that motion. As amended, right? That's what we need for the.
Presented and amended.
Support.
I have motion and support. Could I have a roll call, please?
Member Cheney Huggett.
Yes.
Member Gates.
Yes.
Member Traver.
Yes.
Member Underhill.
Yes.
Member Wolfersberger.
Yeah.
Member Karen. Motion carries, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next up, we have public comment on agenda items. Persons addressing city council are to give
Your
their
Honor.
name.
I'm sorry to interrupt. As far as the roll call, I didn't know if you wanted to consider excusing Mayor Schwartz or not.
Move that we excuse the short.
All in favor, say aye. Same signs for no's? No, he's passed. All right, now we'll move on to public comment on agenda items. Persons speaking will be given 3 minutes and required to give their name and address for the record. Would anybody like to speak on agenda items? Yes, ma'am.
So I speak that. Jennifer Diepenhorst, 1236 West Hughes Street. I don't know where this is an agenda item, but I'm not sure where else to discuss it. I did review the South Neighborhood Improvement Authority on that. It had the Marshall traffic study for Kalamazoo and Hughes, which was updated October.
Excuse me 1 second, please. Could you talk to our mayor or city manager? Could you start the clock? Thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
Updated October 2023. It was a draft copy. I'm not sure who needs to make note of this, but on page 1, section 1, introduction, paragraph 2, it does state that Hughes Street is an undivided 2-lane roadway with a posted speed limit of 25 miles per hour. I'd like to state that this statement omits the speed limit of Hughes Street west of Kalamazoo, which is now inside the city limits. The speed limit there is 55 miles per se, which means it is not posted, therefore it's 55 miles an hour. approach that intersection going eastbound. I'd also like to note that on page 2, section 2, proposed development, paragraph 2, the site plans for both developments can be found in appendix A. The site plan for the Indigo site isn't in appendix A. I was wondering when that was going to be available. It's my understanding there may be some sort of public open house. However, I know I will not be able to make the date that I was told. So, and also the date that was given to me is during Marshall Public Schools spring break. It's also Oberon Day, so you're gonna have, well, a combination of people not here and therefore can't go to that. And you'll have possibly some intoxicated people downtown. So I don't know if that's something that you would like to discuss with Indigo to see if they'd be willing to change that to a different date. Obviously, I'm not saying anyone's trying to hide anything, but I think the more people that can be present for that, the better. That was just one of my concerns, you know, again, you know, I just think that, you know, the city should be open and transparent as they can. And when things fall on things like, it's not what it is, it's what it looks like sometimes. So it looks like something's being held when a lot of people are gonna be gone. I know that's not what's going on. I know they probably just picked a random date that was available to everyone. However, I want to let you guys know what also falls during that time so that you could probably discuss it with them to see if they wanted to schedule it to a different date. Also in regards to roads, so when all of this is done, I would also like you to keep in mind what you guys decide to do in conjunction with Marshall Township, because the north side of the road is going to be the city, the south side is going to be township still, because that part has not been taken over by the city. The only thing I can think of is if maybe you guys have a truck route so that you don't have as many semis going down that roadway. We have a lot that go down there now. I don't know what they're gonna be doing. One of the things was circle roundabout for that intersection. It's gonna be real hard for the semis to make that curve. Plus with all of the additional driveways. Just something to consider. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak?
Is there a motion detector on this thing? Barry Wayne Adams, 622 West Green Street. Again, it appears to be overt malfeasance of office to put into the minutes in the public comment section, nothing more than Barry W. Adams of 622 W Green Street provided a public comment. The whole reason for the democratic process is that the citizenry who should be filling these seats right here, but there's a reason why they don't, instructs. It's Article 1, Section 3. It's our job to instruct the public servants, and they operate on our instruction. It's not for the public servants to take upon themselves how the political and financial and economic destiny of the city goes. And it's complete arrogance to say that people have been planning for something for 50 years when the people who started the planning aren't even going to be around anymore. You know, let future generations decide for themselves what they're going to do. But because, you know, you're not getting any relevant participation, plebiscitic participation in your corporate scheme, it's incumbent on the citizens to follow the instruction of the founding fathers, and when government no longer serves the purposes of upholding the rights and liberties of the people, then they are to dissolve that government and institute a new one. And I see that none of you chose to show up to the meeting at the VFW hall last Saturday afternoon, but see 3 people here, there were 65 people there. None of them were pro battery factory. And I was instructed not to go into details of what they're gonna do there, but things are happening. And, you know, it's gonna be the fall and rise of a new, more responsive government that has a little more in its agenda than satisfying the needs of profiteering and money-making. So, you know, count your days. I mean, the political process is the political process. And
Meetings are recorded in entirety and posted on our website with a link to the YouTube channel where you can watch the poll comments from public there. Any other public comment? Hearing none. Move on to consent agenda. Again, we have number A, city council minutes from work session February 5th, 2024 and regular session February 5th, 2024. Our city bills totaling $2,257,236.99. I'll take a motion to approve
I'll move
consent agenda.
approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Support. Motion and support. Can I get a roll call, please?
Gates. Member Traver.
Yes.
Member Underhill.
Yes.
Member Wolfersberger.
Yes.
Member Karen. Member Cheney Huggett. Motion carries, Your Honor.
Thank you. That takes us down to 12A, the license agreement request for city property at 11301 Old US 27 South. Thank you, Kevin.
Good evening. We were contacted by PJ Steel Pipeline Construction of Kalkaska. They're doing a project for Michigan Gas Utilities in the area this year, and they inquired if they could use a parcel that the city owns south of the Brooks substation there for a pipeline staging and storage area for the project that would begin later this month or early next month, and to be completed by June 28th of this year. They have agreed to take care of any restoration work there to bring the site back to its current condition, which is just farmland right now that's not being utilized for any purpose at the current time. And also then to do some work for us in front of the Brooks substation in an area that was not part of the substation project, and to remove some stumps and stones to flatten or level out the parcel there, and then hydro seed it. So it'll look a lot nicer there at that kind of northeast corner of the parcel closest to the Sandhill Restaurant. So City Attorney David Revore prepared this attached license agreement for your consideration. And I'd be glad to try to answer any questions you might have about it.
I know I do have one question. Can you guesstimate what our cost avoidance is for the work they're going to perform that we would have normally had to perform?
Well, I'm gonna guess it's a couple of $1,000s worth of work. You know, they'll need to bring a dozer out there or some means to grade that or level out that parcel there. They're gonna pick up the rocks and put them in a central location for us to come and get rid of, as well as those stumps. So they're gonna do it at the same time they're doing the restoration work on our other parcel there. So there won't be any additional move-in charge or mobilization, demobilization there. And so it's not gonna be a lot of money, but it's just one of those things that, for us anyway, it would be helpful to get that site looking a little bit better and, you know,
Yeah, at a minimum, it would be us renting a bulldozer. I'm not even sure what
Right.
size would be required. Then it'd be opportunity cost for our employees, whether they're doing
yeah,
their normal day-to-day or whether they're out there doing that. So,
yeah.
but it's a savings to us.
But you feel like it's an adequate offset
Yeah.
for allowing them to
Yeah.
utilize the property?
If
with
we
the
had,
cost?
yeah, if we had some other planned use for that site, it'd be a different story, but if they utilize that, then we're not gonna have to mow it this year or anything like that too, so. Seems like a reasonable thing to do.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'd like to see a recommendation to approve the limited license agreement with PJ Steel Pipeline Construction Company as presented and authorize the city clerk and city manager to sign all required documents.
So moved.
Ford.
I hear a motion and support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Takes us down to 12B, design engineering contract for Street and Valley View number 1.
Thank you. You've actually seen this document before, I think a meeting or two ago, but at that time it was presented for the engineering work for West Drive and Verona Road. We only requested your approval of engineering services for ENG out of Lansing, which you did at that time. We wanted to wait and present this information to the Northeast Neighborhood Improvement Authority to get their recommendation before we brought it back for the engineering services that we'd like to do for the Forest Street expansion and Valley View development. That meeting happened this afternoon. They are in agreement with that recommendation. So tonight we're asking for your approval of that. The recommendation is to approve the Northeast Neighborhood Improvement Authority Infrastructure Design Engineering Contract for award in the amount of $47,900 with a contingency of $4,100 for a total funded amount of $52,000 and authorize the city manager and clerk to execute the documents.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
Actually, I did want to make one note real quick, that came up during the meeting this afternoon. BK Civil's not actually the lowest bidder on this. But their bid on the construction percentage is only 6%. And, I think the current estimates on, the forest extension and the, Man Road extension are a little over $2 million. So that 3% is gonna actually pay for all their engineering services. So yeah, that was a big selling point. To approve. I'll just say so moved.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call.
Member Underhill,
Yes.
member Wolfersberger,
Yes.
member Karen, member Cheney Huggett,
Yes.
member Gates,
Yes.
member Traver.
Yes,
Motion carries, Your Honor.
thank you. That takes us to public comment on non-agenda items. Anybody wishing to speak has 2 minutes. And please state your name and address for the record.
Barry Wayne Adams, 6.2 West Green Street again. The absurdity of trying to, in the first public comment section, to limit to agenda items. Number one, please state for the record what supersedes Article 1, Section 5 of the Michigan Constitution, which says that there shall be no abridgment of our free expression of speech. But comment on agenda items. Here's the agenda. Each of these are agenda items. So if I want to comment on agenda items, I could comment on item 14 public comment on non-agenda items. So, you know, this sad attempt to try to skirt around First Amendment liberties is pathetic, and that's why it's gonna get changed. And the committee's lawsuit has gone up to the Court of Appeals and undoubtedly will prevail. Unless the lawlessness that pervades this county has actually permeated up into the Court of Appeals, which I don't think so with my experience of the Court of Appeals. They will understand that the Constitution overrides some extrapolated interpretation of the city charter that tries to circumvent the ability of the people to exercise their right to refer an ordinance. And it's probably going to be decided on the fact that the cheap trick of trying to put that apportionment on the ordinance will show that it was constructed effectively in the first place, and the court will rule, give declaratory relief that the ordinance is a defective ab initio, and actually it's still been agricultural all this time. So let's see what happens.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak on non-agenda items? Hearing none, we did receive written comments. Are those just going to be filed with the minutes?
So when we receive written comments, what we'll do is we'll start filing those under the non-agenda items, unless it's written comments related to an agenda item, then we'll include those, depending on when, if we receive them in time for us to include them in the current packet. And after we've already, posted the agenda, we'll include the following.
Those comments will be filed underneath the non-agenda items. Thank you. That takes us down to council and manager communications. Mr. Gates, you have anything tonight?
Hi, thank you.
Bill? Karen? Thank you. Ms. Berger? Teresa Cheney Huggett?
Thank you.
Mr. Perry?
No additional comments. Thank you.
I am all set as well. I will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.